Hi, guerreros. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to, in this part of the lesson, go over reading the text. The stranger in the photo is me. Quentin is my assistant. Yeah. Oh, he's so cute. So Quentin is going to be my assistant in this part. And I'm just going to go over basically how to annotate the text. I know it's been a lot of back and forth, like using Nearpod and using other elements to annotate, but for this part, I want you guys to annotate directly on the Google Doc, and you'll have a separate place to turn that in today, okay? As we figure out the virtual world, that's just going to be the easiest for today. So The Stranger in the Photo is Me by Donald Murray. When we're reading this, I really want us to consider these questions. What is the most interesting, profound, or noteworthy line in the memoir? Why? When you read, the things that stick out to you most, or the parts that you think are the most interesting, are what the author is intending for you to take away. And so usually when you think, oh, that was the most interesting part of this text, there's a rhetorical choice or device behind that. And so I want us to make sure that when we're reading, we're also responding with our own personal opinions to these texts, to these memoirs, because usually the author will put a very important part in there that's going to stick out to you. The next three questions are part of SpaceCat. You should always be annotating for SpaceCat. What SpaceCat stand for? Quick, tell me. Oh my God, what a good job. You guys did an amazing job. Speaker, purpose, audience, context, exigence, choices, appeals, and tone. Amazing. So good job, Quentin. So as you're annotating for SpaceCat, three questions I think are going to be the most important for this text. Who is the author? What do we learn about him? What is the exigence or spark for writing? I saw that yesterday. A lot of people kind of struggled with trying to identify the exigence, so we're going to go over it together today. And then who is the audience? This is a text from the Boston Globe, but just based off of that, I don't want I don't want every time I identify the audience for it to be like the world or American people. I want us to get a little bit more precise with who is reading texts and why, and what do we know about them and their beliefs and values. Okay, so I'm going to start by reading the first part of The Stranger is Me. So here we have a photo of Donald Murray. So this is him in England in 1944. So I already learned that the author probably was a war veteran because he was in England in 1944 and he's wearing a uniform. So just before even reading, I already know that he's probably a veteran. I'm going to start here. I was never one to make a big deal over snapshots. I never spent long evenings with the family photograph album. Let's get on with the living. To heck with yesterday, what are we going to do tomorrow? But with the accumulation of yesterdays and the possibility of shrinking tomorrows, I find myself returning as I suspect many over 60s do, for a second glance and a third at family photos to snatch a moment from time. So just in that first paragraph, I see like a shift in the author's attitude. He says here, to heck with yesterday, what are we going to do tomorrow? And so I learned that the author himself, let me just make this a little bigger so you guys can see. The author is not one to be reflective or focus on the past, right? I learned that. However, he says that with the accumulation and shrinking of tomorrows, the possibility of shrinking of tomorrows, that tells me of like his worry with time, worries about time, right? So this could be part of the exigence. As the author is saying, the accumulation of yesterdays and the possibility of shrinking tomorrows, I find myself returning, as many over 60 do, to a second glance at third or family photos. So I'm going to just jot that here. His reflection of family photos is sparked by his nostalgia and worry of aging. So as I'm thinking about nostalgia, it's kind of like this idealization of the past. And so he's not a nostalgic person. I would not say that author is that characteristic of nostalgic, but he does go back and worry about aging and want to make sure that he is looking at those family photos and reliving those memories. So he almost thinks like this is his time for reflection on his life, right?